On a 75-degree evening, we welcome you into Sinsheimer Stadium for SLO Blues baseball. Tonight, the Blues take on the visiting Academy Barons for the first time this season. The Blues need a get-right series, and they might be getting that opportunity early this weekend. After the Blues allowed the Conejo Oaks to take Game 2 and break their 9-game losing streak last week, SLO dropped to 5th place in the CCL South at 4-6. The only team below the Blues in the standings is the team across the diamond. The Barons are just 2-11 in league play and come into tonight's matchup on a 4-game skid. Academy will be in town today and tomorrow for a 2-game series, and if SLO can win both games, it will get back to 500 for the first time since the second league game of the summer. In the first matchup with the Barons, the Blues will go with righty Fisher Johnson on the hill. The Barons counter with their standout right-hander Harold Boyce. Can the Blues take advantage of a struggling Barons squad to start the long weekend? We're about to find out with first pitch on the way. As we welcome you into the broadcast booth. Hello, everyone. I'm Jack Smith. Nate Mills will join me in the 4th inning. But first, it's the Barons and the Blues. The first time we've been able to say that this summer. Academy is the last team in the CCL South that the Blues will be playing for the first time, and they get them here at home to continue this long homestand. It also is a long weekend for the Blues. About 4 games across these next 4 days. Then the Blues go on the road for their 5th game in 5 days. And until the showcase break in a couple of weeks, the Blues have 10 games across the next 11 days. 6 of them at home, 4 of them on the road. And it's imperative that they get out to a hot start in these 2 games with the Barons, a very beatable team at 2-11 that the Blues will want to take 2 games of this 2-game series. We'll be back in a bit with first pitch and national anthem on the way. You're listening to the SLO Blues Streaming Network. It's take the field time for your San Luis Obispo Blues, which means we're just about ready for baseball here at Sinsheimer Stadium. First, though, the national anthem and first pitch. We'll let you take a listen here on the SLO Blues Streaming Network.
Number 12, the left fielder, T.J. Adams. In the number 7 position, wearing number 37, the catcher, Jacob Galloway. Batting 8th for the Blues, wearing number 27, the shortstop, Cade O'Hara. And batting 9th, the designated hitter, wearing number 15, Augusto Schroeder. Starting pitcher for the Blues, wearing number 34, from the University of Southern California, Fisher Johnson. Blues are led by Dean Trainer, assisted by Steve Tolley, Brian Trainer, Rene Regalado, and Max Lover. And of course, out there on the field are the Post Little League Cubs. They are little. Now, ladies Ladies and gentlemen, singing the national anthem for us today is a fan favorite, the Central Coast Harmony Chorus. We would ask you to kindly stand and remove your hats.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Always a fun time with the Central Coast Harmony Chorus. And now let's bring you what you've really been waiting for, and that's baseball here from Sinsheimer Stadium. And we'll start it off with the starting lineup for the visiting Academy Barons. It's Kamau Neighbors, the second baseman from CSUN, who leads things off. Thomas Williams plays third from Santa Ana College and hits second. Dylan Lena, the designated hitter from Golden West, is in the 3 spot. Jacob Klinowski from Cal State East Bay cleaned things up and plays right field. Max Diaz, the left fielder from the University of New Orleans, is in the 5 spot. Mark Anthony Hernandez hits 6th and plays first. He's from Sonoma State. Alonzo Zuniga from Cumberland University is in the 7 hole. It's Troy McCain, the center fielder, recently who entered the portal from Cal Poly SLO, so a local product heading to the transfer portal. He bats 8th, and it's Anthony Bassett, the shortstop from LA Harbor College, who hits 9th. On the mound for your San Luis Obispo Blues, it's the right-hander from USC, Fisher Johnson. He's throwing to his USC teammate Jacob Galloway, so 2 Trojans make up the battery. So far this season, Fisher Johnson, a 4.5 earned run average and 4 innings pitched during league play. 6'1", 200-pound right-hander. He's got 3 strikeouts, so just 2 walks across those 4 innings. Here's the defense the Blues will be putting out on the field in Game 1 of this 2-game series. It's C.J. Adams in left field, Nin Burns in center, Cam Constantine in right field. That's your outfield. On the left side of the infield is Hardy and O'Hara, as we've seen a lot recently. Jacob Ruley and Justin Trimble on the right side. We mentioned Galloway is behind the plate in the squat, and it's Augusto Schroeder who will bat last for the Blues, and he DHs. Galloway throws down, and we're just about ready for baseball here on the SLO Blues streaming network. Barons and Blues, Game 1 of 2. As Fisher Johnson toes the hill, he'll face Kamau Neighbors, Thomas Williams, Dylan Lena here in the first. Leading things off for the Barons here in the first, it's Kamau Neighbors, the second baseman from CSUN. A .351 average for Neighbors so far this summer. 4 runs batted in. Neighbors digging himself out of spot in the back of the box. And the lefty strides in against Johnson. Third baseman Hardy for the Blues is pulled in, expecting a bunt. First pitch of the ball game is a fastball driven out to deep right field. Heading back on it into the gap is Constantine. He now stops and makes the running catch in the gap. So 1 pitch, 1 out for Fisher Johnson. First pitch at 6:06 p.m. A gorgeous 74-degree day here in San Luis Obispo. With Neighbors retired, we now shift to Thomas Williams, the 2-hole hitter, third baseman from Santa Ana College, another left-hander. .267 average for Williams with 2 runs batted in. The Barons attacking Fisher Johnson early. Johnson worked from the stretch as always. Ready's up on that first base side of the rubber. He deals, and Williams takes low to the backstop. 1 ball and no strikes. Fisher Johnson from USC had a 6.1 earned run average as a reliever there this past year. 41 in the 3rd innings pitched. He struck out 18, walked 11. 1-0. And Williams takes way high. 2 balls and no strikes. So far, though, for the Blues, we've only seen Johnson in a starting role. As USC losing a couple starting pitchers this past year. Johnson trying to transition into the rotation from being a reliever, and he was a mix of both this year. throwing some long relief, but starting only for the Blues, and he's behind in the count. 3 balls and no strikes to Thomas Williams. So got to re-enter the zone to the lefty. 3 balls, no strikes. Here's his offering. And it is high. Ball 4, a 4-pitch walk for Thomas Williams in the first of the day for Fisher Johnson. The Barons have a runner on with 1 out. We've seen Johnson be a little bit more susceptible to the walk here this summer than he was at USC. We mentioned only those 11 walks in the 24 appearances, 41 in the 3rd innings pitched. That's now his 3rd walk in league play, and he had a handful in the non-league game he threw before that. Here's Dylan Lena, the DH from Golden West. Picked to first, and back in is Williams. Lena, a .395 average to lead the Barons. Also has 2 home runs, 10 runs batted in. Both of those are either at or tied for the team lead as well. 0-0 from Johnson, and Lena takes the breaking ball, called strike 1. You're going to see the fastball and the breaking ball from Johnson. Those are his 2 big offerings. Mid-90s velocity, and the breaking ball he will go to when he's trying to get you to chase. Johnson from the stretch. Williams runs it first. 0-1. That's the breaking ball again. This time it's too high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Lena, big, strong right-hander, 6 foot, 220 pounds. Played at 40 games this past year as a freshman at Golden West. Had an OPS of .840. Hit .276 across 156 at-bats. As another pick goes to first, and Williams again back in safe. Of his 43 hits, 9 of them homers for Dylan Lena across those 40 games. 1-1. And Lena takes way high. Chin music brushes back the right-hander. 2 balls and 1 strike. So if you're doing the math on Lena, it's about a home run every 10 games or so. And so far checks out with how he's played with the Barons. Maybe even a faster pace, as the Barons have played 13 games and he's hit 2. 2-1. Lena takes high again. 3 balls and 1 strike, and Johnson's on the verge of walking his 2nd straight. Barons are a team that have dealt with some trouble this season. 2-11. They've lost 4 in a row. But they've got some bats at the top of this lineup that have some pretty solid numbers. It's just all about putting it together in one game. 3-1 on the way. And that misses way inside. All the way to the backstop. It's a walk either way. Moving up to second is Williams. Lena's aboard at first as Johnson has walked 2 batters here in the first. So 2 walks in 4 innings in Johnson's first CCL start. Here, 2 walks in the first 3 batters. And coming up is Jacob Klinovsky as Jacob Galloway goes out to the mound to talk to his USC right-hander. Klinovsky coming up a .275 average, 1 home run, 10 runs batted in from the right fielder from Cal State East Bay. Third lefty to come up against Johnson, and Klinovsky a chance to add to his team leading 10 runs batted in. Him and Lena tied with 10. Lena runs at first, Williams at second. 2 Barons who have drawn walks here in the first inning. Johnson delivers, and that's way high and outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Galloway's got experience catching Johnson. We mentioned they're USC teammates, so he knows the right things to say, the right buttons to push to get Johnson to enter the zone and make competitive pitches. Trying to get him to do that here as Klinovsky pops it up. Third base side, Hardy into foul territory, puts his brown glove up and makes the one-handed catch. A gift from Klinovsky as he pops up the ball. That's a second out here in the inning. So Klinovsky down on the foul pop-up. Here's Max Diaz, the left fielder from the University of New Orleans. 194 average for Diaz. 6 runs batted in. Still 2 aboard for the Barons. 2 outs here in the first. Johnson comes set, looks to second, now brings it home. And Diaz swings and misses. No balls and 1 strike on the first whiff generated by Fisher Johnson. Williams has good speed at second. Average to below average speed for Lena, the DH at first. 0-1. And Diaz takes. Strike 2 called. Fastball in the outer half. He tried to check his swing. I think it was a strike either way. No balls and 2 strikes. So Johnson, despite the trouble here in the inning, can get out of it with a strikeout. 0-2 the count. 2 outs, 2 runners aboard. Johnson strides and shoots. And Diaz flies it into center. In comes the center fielder, Nin Burns, hustling even more now. And just as he crosses paths with the left fielder, Adams makes the catch. Johnson gets out of the frame, strands the 2 walks, and the Blues are coming up in the bottom of the first. When we come back, it'll be Nin Burns, Jacob Ruley, and Theo Hardy on the SLO Blues streaming network. It's the home half of the first inning here on the SLO Blues streaming network. We're at Sinsheimer Stadium, which means the Blues are coming up for the first time, and we'll look at the lineup. It's the center fielder, Nin Burns, leading things off from Cal Poly Pomona. Right behind him, Jacob Ruley playing second from CSU Bakersfield. In the 3 spot, it's Theo Hardy playing third base yet again from San Jose State. Justin Trimble gets another start in the cleanup spot, the first baseman from UCSB. The right fielder from Texas, Cam Constantine, hits 5th. TJ Adams, the left fielder from Arizona, is in the 6th spot. And in the bottom third of the order, it's Jacob Galloway from USC, Kate O'Hara from Texas, and Augusto Schroeder, the DH from Arkansas State. On the hill for the Academy Barons, it's the righty Harold Boyce, the 6'4", 180-pound right-hander, has a 0 ERA and 11 innings pitched so far for the Barons. 16 strikeouts to 5 walks for the tall righty. And now he gets a chance to face the Blues for the first time. First game all summer between the Barons and San Luis Obispo. And it's Nin Burns to lead things off after Fisher Johnson worked a scoreless top of the frame. Boyce delivers, and Burns takes on the outside corner, strike 1. Boyce is 1-0 this summer. He's got 1 of the 2 wins that the Barons have. That was back in a game against the OC Riptide. That skips off the catcher Zuniga, ball 1. A win against the Riptide, a win against the Saints. The only 2 victories on the schedule for the 2-11 Academy Barons, but Boyce a scoreless pitcher in one of them. 1-1, and Burns wraps it up the middle. Moving over to the shortstop is Bassett. He throws low, dug out by Hernandez in time to get Burns for the out. Here's a look at the defense for the Academy Barons. In the outfield from left to right, it's Diaz, McCain, and Klinovsky. On the right side, it's Neighbors and Hernandez on the infield. Bassett and Williams make up the left side. Zuniga is behind the plate in the squat, and Dylan Lena DHs. So after Burns taps out, it's Jacob Ruley, the second baseman from CSU Bakersfield. A .278 average, 2 runs batted in for Ruley in league play. Boyce, the windup, kicks and deals. And Ruley takes the breaking ball on the inside corner, strike 1 call. Ruley's walked 5 times. He's also stolen 5 bases. When he's been on, he's been a problem for the Blues. Trying to do that here in the first. 0-1. Ruley takes outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. So far, we're seeing primarily fastball breaking ball from Boyce, who's dominated so far through the CCL South. 1-1, and Ruley taps it foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Jacob Ruley, 5'10", 185-pound outfielder / infielder. We've seen him play left and right. I think, though, his primary position that he'll play for the Blues is second base, which is where he's today. 1-2 on the way. Ruley lines it foul down the right field line. Still 1 ball and 2 strikes. Blues have some guys with a lot of defensive versatility. on deck is Theo Hardy. We've seen him play shortstop and third base, and we've seen him practicing at first. Rulli can play the outfield and the infield. A lot of guys that can play multiple spots in multiple position groups. Another one, too, with a leg kick, and Rulli pops it up. Into shallow center. Out goes the second baseman, Neighbors. He's called off by McCain, the center fielder, who puts his glove up to make the one-handed catch. So with Rulli retired, 2 batters up, 2 batters down. Here comes Theo Hardy, the switch-hitting third baseman. Hardy hails from San Jose State, has a .286 average this summer. Below 300 for the first time in his Blues career. Also has knocked in 5 runs and walked a total of 7 times. Boyce with his funky windup delivers, and Hardy takes outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Boyce starts his windup the same way, has a slight pause, and then will do different things with his legs. As here he kicks it a little higher, deals into Hardy, who fouls it off. 1 ball and 1 strike. Almost Johnny Cueto-esque minus the shimmy. And an even 1-1 count on Hardy hitting left-handed. Here's the offering. Hardy takes outside, 2-1 the count. Hardy played in all 58 games for San Jose State this past year, led all qualified Spartans in batting average and on base percentage. He's led the Blues in those categories so far, but has dipped down a little bit in recent games. But here he starts off his day with a flare to left. In comes the left fielder Diaz, and he makes the head-high catch. The Blues go 1-2-3 in the bottom of the first, which means we had top 2. It is still 0-0 on the SLO Blues streaming network. Welcome you back to Sinsheimer Stadium on the SLO Blues streaming network, with the Barons coming back up here top 2. It'll be Mark Anthony Hernandez, Alonzo Zuniga, and Troy McCain against Fisher Johnson. Johnson walked 2 in the first, but bared down, getting a pair of flyouts to end the inning. 0-0. That's in there to Mark Anthony Hernandez, the first baseman from Sonoma State. No balls and 1 strike. Hernandez hitting .189 with a run batted in so far this summer. He's walked a total of 3 times. Johnson from the stretch kicks and deals, and Hernandez takes in the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike. Johnson still trying to find the breaking ball command. When he's on with the fastball and the breaking ball working how he wants, he's hard to hit. And when you do put it in play, it's often weak contact, as we've seen at least so far for the Blues. Just trying to avoid trouble with the base on balls. 1-2 the count on Hernandez as Johnson stares in for his sign. Still looking for his first strikeout today. He comes set and comes home. And he struck him out. Fastball right by Hernandez for strikeout number 1. There's 1 away here in the second. So with Hernandez down on strikes, here's Alonzo Zuniga, the catcher from Cumberland University. A .200 average for the backstop. 1 run batted in. He's also walked 4 times. That was a hit-me fastball, and Hernandez was way too late, right off that inside corner. As there's the breaking ball on the outer half, a little bit off the plate. 1 ball and no strikes. Hernandez just could not catch up as that ran past his hands, and Johnson picked up strikeout number 1. 1-0. In the dirt, 2 balls and no strikes. Zuniga from Cumberland University. He's bounced around just about everywhere. Start to look at the schools that he's been to. Cumberland University, Mineral Area College, William Penn University, Colorado Northwestern Community College, all of those places since coming out of high school. This past year at Mineral Area College, he saw 161 at-bats, hit 286 with 4 home runs, 30 runs batted in. 2-1 the count. Johnson set at the belt. He delivers, and Zuniga takes high, 3 balls and 1 strike. Johnson settles and comes home again. And Zuniga lines it into left. It falls in front of the left fielder Adams for a base hit. That's the first hit between either of these teams today, and Zuniga picks up a base knock. He's aboard with 1 out. For Johnson, that's better than the walk. If he's around the zone, normally he's a harder guy to hit and he'll force weak contact. And in a 3-1 count, had to come across if he didn't want to walk his third batter. And Zuniga got the fastball, lined it into left. Here's Troy McCain, the center fielder, who came from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo and recently entered the transfer portal. Johnson looks to Zuniga at first, now stares in at McCain. He brings it home, and McCain pops it up foul down the right field line. No balls and 1 strike. McCain didn't see any action as a freshman at Cal Poly this past year and announced earlier this month, in the first week of June really, that he was entering the transfer portal, searching for another school. Hails from Norco, California, went to Corona High School. 0-1. That's off the outside corner, 1 ball and 1 strike. McCain's one of those guys, too, that's bounced around, but that was more at the high school level. One of those guys you see that transfers high schools. It's rare nowadays. But McCain did it. Swings and misses here, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Finished up his senior year at Corona High School. Previously, before that, he was at Ayala High School in Chino Hills for 3 years. Had the COVID year, so he only played 2 seasons there, and then transferred to Corona for his senior season. 1-2. And McCain strikes out swinging. Nice breaking ball from Johnson on that outer half, and McCain a little bit out in front. That's 2 strikeouts in the frame. There's 2 away. So Johnson responds to the base hit with a strikeout, and here's the 9-hole hitter Anthony Bassett, the shortstop from L.A. Harbor College. 286 average for Bassett. He's knocked in 2 runs, walked 3 times. Oh, Bassett takes outside, 1 ball and no strikes. The first series between the Barons and the Blues this summer. The Barons are the last CCL team the Blues have to play for the first time. They, coming into this game, had played every other opponent in the South. The Barons, the last one they had yet to see. As Bassett takes that fastball on the outside corner, this time 1-1. SLO was 4-3 against the Barons last year. It was a down summer for both teams as they finished as the bottom 2 teams in the South, but in the final game of the season series, the Blues took a big win in order to win 4 of 7 on the year. 1-1. Bassett takes, strike 2 call. Academy finished in last place. They were a game behind the Blues, so that win for the Blues allowed them to finish in 5th and not 6th. The Barons 13-21 in league play, and this year, coming into this game, they're the only team below the Blues in the standings. 1-2. Chopped on the ground towards second. In comes O'Hara. It bounces up into his glove, and he throws on to first for the out. So Johnson gives up a hit, but he strikes out 2 and gets out of the inning scoreless. We head to the bottom of the second. The Blues are coming back up. It'll be 4-5-6. Trimble, Constantine, and Adams when we come back on the SLO Blues streaming network. Welcome back to Sinsheimer Stadium. It's the bottom of the second, which means the Blues are back up on offense. 4-5-6, due up for San Luis Obispo, starting with Justin Trimble, who takes outside. 1 ball and no strikes from Harold Boyce. The Blues went 1-2-3 in the first. A pair of flyouts and a ground out. And here's Trimble, the first baseman from UCSB, hitting .091 in league play with 2 runs knocked in. But had a great weekend in non-league play, including his first home run for the Blues. It was a big 3-run shot to center. Hit it on a line, it stayed on a line, and it still somehow cleared the fence to the deepest part of the yard. 1-1. Trimble takes high and out, 2 balls and 1 strike. So Harold Boyce has now worked 12 scoreless innings for the Barons so far this summer. The Blues are looking to be the first team to really get to him in 2023. Trying to get on the board first here at Sinsheimer. 2-1. And Trimble cracks it on the ground on a couple of hops towards second. It comes up on Neighbors, the second baseman, who slings it across to first in time to get Trimble by a step. And with 1 away, here comes Cam Constantine. Constantine, the right fielder from Texas, has played in a handful of league games, hitting .375 to lead the Blues, has 3 runs batted in. He hasn't hit the ball tremendously hard yet, but everything that he puts in play is finding a hole, or he's hitting it short enough that it's not getting to anyone. And good base running. He's ended up with some base knocks. A couple of them came in that second game against the Oaks, as he takes here the breaking ball in the outside corner, 0-1. Constantine, a guy that can hit the ball really hard, and you figure that's coming, but in the meantime, being able to pick up hits on the balls he doesn't exactly square up, that's a big deal for the Blues, who are trying to find some offense. 1 ball and 1 strike. SLO ended up dropping the second game to Conejo in that series, split it 1-1 with the Oaks, who came in on an 8-game losing streak, lost the first game, but then picked up their first win in weeks in that second contest with the Blues. As Constantine chops it foul, 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Blues looking for some sort of consistency, and winning back-to-back games would be a big deal. The 1-2 offering. And Constantine leaves it outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. The only time that the Blues have won consecutive games in league play was when they went down to Orange County and swept the Riptide in that 2-game series. Outside of that, it's either been stretches of losses or 1 win, then right back to losing. 2-2 on the way. Constantine pops it up straight back and foul. Out of play, 2 balls and 2 strikes. And you feel when you watch the Blues that they're right on the cusp of breaking through, rattling off some wins. I think it's all about the energy for this team. And being able to play here at home over this big weekend should help. Another 2-2 is fouled straight back. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Blues have 4 games here in this long weekend. If you consider Monday, since it's the biggest game of the year for SLO, they've got these 2 games against the Barons. Sunday they play the Ventura County Pirates in a non-league game. And then Santa Barbara comes into town for a sold-out fireworks night on Monday. Another 2-2. And Constantine tips it straight down foul. The catcher Zuniga trying to plead his case that he caught it right off the bounce. But it's a foul ball. Nice try. So Constantine battling. He showed a good ability to do that against Conejo. He'll get behind in the count, 2 strikes, but then he'll battle, and he'll doing it here. And he takes low, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Constantine this past year at Texas got 20 at-bats, had 4 hits, one of them a double, another one of those a homer. Had 2 runs knocked in. Payoff pitch, and Constantine flies it foul again.
Here's another foul ball. That one's over there in the Little League Park. Our thanks to Culver Construction, who are sponsoring the foul balls today in honor of Derek Batson.
So Constantine continues to do battle in the full count. This will be the 9th pitch upcoming from Harold Boyce. He shakes his sign, now has the one he wants. Kicks and fires, and Constantine goes down swinging. Curveball in the dirt as Zuniga gets up and tags him out, and just like that, 2 away. So Constantine battles, but Boyce wins the war, and with 2 away, the batter will be TJ Adams. That's the first strikeout for Boyce on the day. Came into this game with 16 strikeouts in 11 innings. 5th batter he faces strikes him out. He's sat down the first 5 Blues in order. Adams with 2 outs. Swing to the first pitch, and it's back into the glove of Zuniga. No balls and 1 strike. TJ Adams playing left field today from Arizona. Has a .200 average with 4 runs batted in for the Blues in league play. 0-1. Adams takes a little bit low with the breaking ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1. Now Adams takes outside. 2-1 the count. Boyce undecided on where he'll play next, and couldn't find stats on where he played last year, but previously was at LA Mission College for 3 seasons. 2018 high school graduate, so running out of years to play at the collegiate level. As the count now 3 balls and 1 strike. A career 4.86 ERA and 87 innings for Boyce at LA Mission. 3-1 on the way. And Adams checks his swing, takes strike 2 on the outside corner. Another full count for the Blues, who are still looking for their first base runner. With 2 outs, a 3-2 count on TJ Adams. Boyce kicks and fires. And Adams takes a little bit outside, and that's the first base runner. A walk for Adams. He's aboard with 2 outs, and the batter will be Jacob Galloway. Close take for TJ Adams, but he gets the benefit of the call. Fastball was a little bit outside and a little bit low off that outside corner. Here's the catcher for USC. It's Jacob Galloway, the left-hander. Doesn't have any league stats yet. He went 2 for 5 in a game against the Crabs last weekend. From the stretch for the first time, Boyce with a long hold. Still holding, and now he comes home. Galloway takes a little bit low, 1 ball and no strikes. Boyce trying to freeze the USC catcher, who hit well above 300 in his first season with the Trojans. Got the starting job late in the year, took off running with it, hit 365 across 19 starts, 24 games played. 1-0, Adams takes off. The pitch is high. Here's the throw from Zuniga, and it's into center field. Adams right back on his feet, but he stops at second, and now it gets by the center fielder, McCain. Adams ranging around third. He's going to go first to home, and he puts the Blues on the board. It's 1-0. Well, how about that? The speed from TJ Adams and the defensive mistake for the Barons, and the Blues are on the board for free. It started with the Zuniga throw in to center, and the center fielder McCain let it go right under his glove. 270 feet on the run for Adams, who steals a base and then some. And now Galloway takes on the outside corner with the 2-0, 2 balls and 1 strike. And that's why you don't like 2-out walks. Adams gets on for free, and he makes the Barons pay. 2-1. Galloway rips it on the ground towards the third baseman Williams, who moves to his left, picks it up, and throws on to first for the out. The Blues pick up a run on the stolen base and the error by the Barons. It's 1-0 as we're through 2 on the SLO Blues streaming network. Well, by no real success of their own, the Blues are ahead in this game. TJ Adams got on with the walk, tried to steal second, was going to make it, and the throw went into center field all the way by the center fielder McCain. And so Adams hurried up and then scurried around the base pass to put the Blues on the board 1-0. And here in the top of the third, it's the top of the order for the Academy Barons, starting with Kamau Neighbors. And Neighbors swings, laces this one into the gap in right center. Out goes Constantine, and it falls in between him and Burns. Burns, the center fielder, plays it off the track. The throw comes into the second baseman, Ruley. It's a leadoff double for Neighbors, and the Barons are right back in business here in the third. Neighbors has swung on the first pitch twice in this game, hit it almost in that exact same spot the first time. It was a fly out to right. This time he makes sure he gets it in the gap and picks up an extra base hit. Attacking early on Fisher Johnson here in the third inning. It's a second hit for the Barons. The Blues don't have one, but they've got a run on the board. The Barons trying to equalize that here in the third inning. The batter now will be Thomas Williams, who drew a walk and was stranded at second back in the first inning. Johnson working with a runner in scoring position. Looks back there as Neighbors dances off. Now he brings it home. And Williams rolls it on the ground to second. This will move over Neighbors to third. The throw from Ruley to Trimble is in time. But the Barons will take that as Williams gets his job done. A runner at third now with one out. And the batter will be Dylan Lena. So the unselfish at-bat from Williams. Lena, the DH from Golden West, the team leader in homers and RBI, comes up now with a chance to knock in a run and tie this game up. Like Williams, Lena also drew a walk his first time up, and the Blues will semi-bring the infield in. Everyone just about near that outcrop of the grass on the infield. Pitch to Lena is a breaking ball in there, strike one. So this is a clear strikeout spot for Fisher Johnson. He got two back in the second inning. Those are the only two he's had so far. One out here in the third. Neighbors with good speed is at third base. 0-1. Lena leaves that outside on the breaking ball. 1-1 the count. Lena came into this game a .395 average, 2 homers, 10 runs batted in. The walk in the first was his 11th of the summer, so his on-base percentage is through the roof. 1-1. Lena unloads to deep center. Nin Burns chasing it back to the track, to the wall. He looks up, and it's off the bottom of the wall. Neighbors waited. Now he comes in to score. There's no one at second base, and Lena's in with a double. It's 1-1. Two great swings to the bat for the Barons here in the third, and Lena gets his 11th RBI to lead the team. Equalize this game at 1. 2 doubles and 3 batters here in the third, and the Barons still in business. So Johnson trying to continue throwing strikes, and he's gotten hit around a little bit more in this one. That's the third hit, second extra base hit of the inning. Here's Jacob Klinowski, a chance to potentially put the Barons in front with a hit. Oh well, and Klinowski takes strike one call on the outside corner. Klinowski popped out to the third baseman Hardy back in the first inning. He was in a 1-0 count and chased a pitch up high, popped it foul, and was retired by the third baseman Hardy. 0-1. Klinowski now rolls this one foul past the first baseman Trimble down the right field line. No balls and 2 strikes. Klinowski from Cal State East Bay playing right field today for the Barons, who have tied things up here in the third. A .275 average for the 6'2", 220-pound outfielder. A home run, 10 runs batted in so far this summer. Lena gets his lead off second. He's held on there by O'Hara. 0-2. And Klinowski fights it off the other way. Deep to left, it spins around Adams, who now gets his bearings and jumps to make the catch. A little bit of trouble in the outfield for Adams, but he makes the catch, and there's 2 away. Could have been dangerous for the Blues, as Adams didn't see the ball off the bat, spun around a couple times, and leaped at the last second to make the grab. With 2 away, here's Max Diaz, who flew out to center in the second inning.
Number 13, Max Diaz.
Johnson trying to get the final out, keep it a 1-1 game. A runner in scoring position, that's Lena, who doubled in a run. Johnson comes home, and a big swing and a miss from Diaz. No balls and 1 strike. That's the slider from Johnson. It's been working well on that outside corner. Fastball is the pitch that's been getting hit a little bit more in this game. Johnson sets, looks to second, now comes home. And Diaz taps it off his own foot. Luckily, he's got the foot guard, so he'll be okay. No balls and 2 strikes. 1 run across in this inning so far. 2 doubles. Neighbors led it off on the first pitch with a laser into the right center field gap, and then Lena tagged one off the wall to bring in a run. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and a runner at second. Johnson comes set, kicks and deals. And Diaz pokes it into shallow right. In comes the right fielder, Constantine. He camps under it and makes the one-handed catch for the final out. The Barons got on the board. It's a double for Lena with a run batted in as we head to the bottom of the third. It's 1-1 on the SLO Blues streaming network. 8-9-1 due up for the Blues in the bottom of the third, and a tie game. It's 1-1 Barons and Blues after the Academy tied things up in the top half of this frame. It's Kate O'Hara to lead off the frame for the Blues, and he takes strike 1 on the fastball. O'Hara, Schroeder, then back to the top of the order for an in Burns against Harold Boyce. Boyce kicks and fires, and O'Hara takes in the dirt. 1-1 the count. Kate O'Hara, the shortstop from Texas, is 1 for 4 so far for the Blues in league play. Didn't see a ton of action at UT Austin this past year. 1-1. He lines it straight back, 1-2. In fact, in 12 games played, just 2 starts for O'Hara. Got 7 at-bats. Didn't have a hit, but walked 1 time. Got 2 runs batted in. 1-2. And O'Hara takes high, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Blues got a run for free in the second inning on a 2-out walk, and a stolen base and an error by the Barons allowed Adams to score. Still looking for their first hit. 2-2. O'Hara pops it up straight back foul over the press box and out of Sinsheimer Stadium. 2 balls and 2 strikes still. O'Hara went to Mater Dei High School from Tustin, California. 2-2. Here he pops it up. In foul territory, past the first baseman Hernandez and over the fence into the Blues bullpen. So out of play, still 2-2 the count. We've seen O'Hara's excellence on defense so far, and even that alone is probably enough to earn him nearly the everyday starting shortstop job, but still trying to get it done with the bat as he strikes out swinging here. The second strikeout for Boyce, 1 out here in the third. So now the 9-hole hitter, Augusto Schroeder, steps up to the dish. Schroeder is 2 for 4 in league play. Also has really come on strong as of late in non-league play. Had a game against the Humboldt Crabs where he had 3 hits and 2 of them were doubles.
Now for the Blues, number 15, the designated hitter, Augusto Schroeder.
Oh. And Schroeder takes down in the dirt, 1 ball and no strikes. Schroeder, 5'11", 180-pounder from Edmond, Oklahoma. At Arkansas State, but didn't see the field as a freshman last season. 1-0. Here he lines it straight back, 1 ball and 1 strike. Schroeder went to Bishop McGinnis High School out in Oklahoma, was a 2-time varsity captain for the Fighting Irish. 1-1 on the way. Schroeder checks his swing. Did he go around? No. On the downward slider, 2 balls and 1 strike. Schroeder hit .423 with 15 runs batted in as a senior. Also led the Fighting Irish with 15 stolen bases. Selected to play in the Oklahoma Baseball Coaches Association All-Star Game, and he's ahead in the count, 3 balls and 1 strike. Blues have 1 base runner so far that turned into 1 run. The walk to Adams with 2 outs last inning. Schroeder ahead in the count, 3-1. Here's the pitch from Voice, and it's down in the dirt. So that's the second base runner for the Blues as Augusto Schroeder continues his streak of getting on base. He's at first, and the top of the order coming up with 1 out. As Nin Burns steps up, Schroeder gets his lead off first. Burns grounded out to shortstop his first time up. Burns came into this game hitting .250. Still looking for his first run batted in league play, which he's been in the lineup so often, and you often look at the box score. He's got a hit or 2, but still looking for the first RBI. Life of a leadoff hitter. But he's got a chance with a runner on base here. Middle infield plays double play depth for the Barons, and a ground ball goes there to second for 1 to first. A double play in time to get the speedy Burns. Nice turn by Bassett and Neighbors, and that gets Boyce out of the inning. So the Blues don't score in the third. Nate Mills coming to join me in the fourth. It's a 1-1 game on the SLO Blues streaming network. Top side of 4 on the SLO Blues streaming network. It's 1-1 Barons and Blues. And coming up, it's Mark Anthony Hernandez. He'll be followed by Alonzo Zuniga, Troy McCain. Here in the top of the 4th as Johnson stays out. Nate Mills here in the broadcast booth with me. Nate, it's a 1-1 tie so far. The Blues got their run for free. The Barons earned theirs. What do you think the two differences between these two teams early in this game?
I think right now Fisher Johnson's looking really good. We talk about how he can be really hot, he can be really cold, and I feel like he's commanding his pitches well. He's really loving that changeup, and that he's mixing that slider as well. Actually rolled into the dugout after that last inning of work.
There's a liner to left, right at TJ Adams. So hard hit ball, but it's an out, 1 away.
He came back in with a big smile, making the hand gesture like that changeup is working. So it's good to see him in high spirits. I think a lot of the energy in the dugout is surrounding him. He's getting guys to swing the bat, put balls in play, make the defense work. And he's made a mistake a few times. That's where that run came from in that double. But if he just continues to stay confident in that changeup and slider, I think we'll be good.
Here's Alonzo Zuniga, singled his first time up, and he takes low, 1 ball and no strikes. That ball off the bat of Hernandez was 94 miles an hour, but turned into an out. And that's sometimes what Johnson needs. He'll give up some hard hit balls, but he trusts his defense behind him. Uncharacteristically, I think, in the first inning and so far in his Blues career, a little more walks than you normally see, but he's a guy, he's going to pitch to contact, he's going to trust his defense, he's going to trust that the ball is going to find the gloves of the guys behind him.
Yeah, it's good for the defense, keeping them on their toes, keeping them alert. Easier to make plays that way.
1-1. And Zuniga flies it into shallow right. Constantine broke back initially, now comes in a little bit, settles under it, and makes the catch.
And when you got a guy who's pitching to contact and it's right at guys, it's a lot easier to stay focused and be ready to make those plays that need to be made.
The only reason that the Blues have a run on the board is because a play that needed to be made wasn't made by the Barons. Adams stole second, and as the throw got into center field, I think McCain was just as surprised as everyone in center. It rolled right past him, and Adams scurried 270 feet to score a run. Here's Troy McCain, the center fielder, and he takes in the dirt, 1 ball and no strikes. So he's trying to make up for his defensive mistake with the at-bat here in the 4th inning, coming up with 2 outs, nobody on. 1-0. McCain swings and chops a big chopper foul. 1 ball and 1 strike.
On the topic of Adams running, I got a closer look at the ice cream dipped, oven mitt I was talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
There's scripture on it.
Oh.
Absolutely ridiculous. That's what it says.
When you said scripture, I thought you meant like from the Bible. I don't think they write like that.
Sorry, what's the better word? Like writing?
Signage?
Yeah, I mean it's like cursive.
Text.
Yeah.
Text. That's in there, strike 2 on the slider. Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if anyone else has anything like that. Anyone can match the swag of TJ Adams. In order to do that, they've got to score a run today. It's a 1-1 game. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count here in the 2nd. Johnson comes set, looking for a scoreless frame. He kicks and deals, and McCain rolls it foul. Still 1-2. McCain struck out his first time up, one of 2 strikeout victims of Johnson. Both those Ks came in the 2nd. Fisher searching for his sign. Shakes his USC teammate off, and now he's got it. Comes set at the belt. And delivers. And McCain takes a little bit low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So he went with the fastball. Now, with that inside fastball, do you think it potentially sets up a breaking ball on the opposite side?
I think so. That slider.
And feeling the changeup, feeling the slider. What will he go to here? 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The pitch. It's the slider, and it's popped up into left. Heading over towards the line is TJ Adams. As he crosses the line, it bounces off the wall. Foul. That ball kept carrying on TJ Adams off the Rourke family sign in deep left. A long strike. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And it's tough at this field to judge a ball out there in left field. You got the wind tunnel action, crosswinds. Ball's going every which way. Saw Adams struggling earlier to get a good read on the ball in the 2nd inning. That one's hard to play. Heading towards the corner, you got that wall out there. As you'd say in football, you heard footsteps. When in this case, you sense the wall. And it's a hard wall too.
We saw in the series against the Oaks, anything in the air to left almost carried out of the yard. So I shouldn't have been surprised that one went so far. But Johnson now trying to continue to rally. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He delivers. Strike 3 called. Strikeout number 3 for Johnson as he stares off McCain as he walks off the mound. As we head to the bottom of the 4th, it's still 1-1 on the SLO Blues streaming network. Home half of the 4th on the SLO Blues streaming network. It'll be Jacob Ruley, Theo Hardy, Justin Trimble in a 1-1 game. Harold Boyce stays out on the mound for the Barons as the shadows start to creep in. 2-3-4 coming up for San Luis Obispo. Ruley steps in, a fly out to center in his first at-bat, leading off the 4th. Boyce delivers, and Ruley takes outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Nate, I think the big news from the game the other day was not that the Oaks broke their losing streak. For the Blues, it was that starting pitcher Robbie Lardner only managed to go 2 innings, dealt with an injury, 1-0. That really takes a strike. And today I think we figured out the extent of that injury. Lardner walking around in street clothes for the Blues, and we've heard some bad things that maybe his time with the Blues is done this summer.
Yeah, I think it's precautionary, trying to keep the arm loose. I think he's kind of hanging a bit. He's had a lot of work so far in this season. I think he just wants to shut it down and be as strong and healthy as he can be head into his next season at Cuesta. So he's hanging out with the guys. Good to see him in street clothes, in good spirits, laughing.
Rulli chops it to third. In comes the third baseman Williams. Long throw. It's a little high, but the first baseman Hernandez able to keep his foot on the bag. 1 away. And, of course, we feel for Robbie. We're going to miss him around here. He was an energetic guy on the mound, really funny guy off the field, but you have to prioritize your college season. For him, the ability to maybe get drafted one day, that comes before summer ball. And so, smart of him to be able to think about his arm first and the team second, because you don't want to go too far and end up at an even worse injury point. So the Blues are going to miss him, but it's probably the right decision if he was feeling any pain at all in his arm.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. I mean, you use summer ball to get work in. You use it to get reps, and if those reps become damaging to your health, and you should probably shut it down. You're right, Jack. You prioritize your college season ahead of summer ball.
1-0 on Theo Hardy, and Hardy rolls it foul down the first base line. And that's not to say that the Blues are not going to miss Robbie Lardner dearly. They've lost now maybe their 2 ace pitchers so far in the season, Lucas Alanis and Robbie Lardner, in a span of days, as Alanis heading home to give some rest to his arm, and now Lardner with the injury. The Blues have a huge stretch of games coming up, and they've lost maybe the 2 guys that have thrown most often for them. 10 games in the next 11 days for SLO, and now they've lost out on those 2 guys. It's going to be a jigsaw puzzle for Dean Traynor. As Hardy swings with the 1-2, bounces it to second on a couple of hops. Neighbors comes up with it. A little overhand flip to first for the out.
Yeah, interesting to see what kind of pitchers we'll see rolling out in the next few days, what Dean Traynor's strategy is going to be. It's the stuff you got to deal with in summer ball, though. Guys come, guys leave. You guys can show up and, their arms hanging a bit, shut it down. That's more of a pitcher thing as well. You see pitchers cycling through more on summer ball teams.
Now Justin Trimble flies it foul. The Blues do have a couple reinforcements coming in. We were told today about guys that will be joining the team this week. Justin Vos will be with the team from UCSB. Kyle Dunning from Cal State Bakersfield will come this weekend. And then Justin Feld, who's heading to Gonzaga, will be with the team by this weekend. The 0-1 is outside, 1-1. Big shoes to fill, though, with Robbie Lardner and Lucas Alanis, and we'll miss them a lot.
And these have been guys that have been consistently starters throughout the year. The old reliable.
1-1. Trimble takes strike 2 call on the outside corner. You're right, though, about pitchers in summer ball. A lot of the times it's a pitch limit set by their coaches, but any sign of injury, and it's smart to just shut it down.
It's kind of why you don't see as many dominant pitchers from, let's just say, Power 5 schools playing in summer ball leagues that often.
Long pause, strike 3 called. Walking off the mound is Harold Boyce, chatting a little bit with Trimble as he froze him with the fastball and the windup. And as we're through 4, it's still 1-1 on the SLO Blues streaming network. welcome you back on the SLO Blues streaming network. It's been a tight game so far between the Blues and Barons. Academy playing a lot tougher than their 2-11 record. Through 4, it's 1-1. And the Barons are coming back up in this inning against Johnson. 9-1-2. Starting with Anthony Bassett as Fisher Johnson readies up from the stretch. Entrenched in the shadows, he kicks and deals. And Bassett takes a little off the plate. 1 ball and no strikes. Bassett grounded out to short. That ended the second inning, the 9-hole hitter.
Real clean inning from Fisher in the 4th, hoping to replicate that here in the 5th.
1-0. And Bassett flies it off the end of the bat to center. Ninburns had broken back, but now comes in and makes the chest-high catch.
Johnson forcing a lot of pop-outs, a lot of fly-outs today. And it's directly at guys. They're not having to make too many steps to their left or right, but that outfield's getting worn out. And they're ready to go. They're catching all of them.
He's a guy that normally lives around 87, 88 miles an hour on the fastball, and I have to imagine it's got some late life because I feel like whenever it's put in play, it's either off towards the handle, maybe just by an inch or two, off the end of the bat. Those guys that are able to force weak contact without throwing, extremely hard or stuff that moves a ton, you have to imagine it's those last little increments that just fall off the either end of the barrel that allow them to force the weak contact.
And at that college level, if you're going to get a flat fastball, more often than not, it's going to get dealt with. They're gonna hit it hard somewhere. So it only makes sense that he's creating some weak contact because of that late life.
This is Kamau Neighbors, who doubled and scored back in the 3rd. 1-1. Neighbors swings, tops it, and pops it up into shallow left. Heading out is the shortstop O'Hara as he passes the foul line. He watches it fall foul, 1 ball and no strikes. Neighbors has already seen more pitches in this at-bat than it is first 2 times up. Swung at the first pitch to start the game and lined out to the right fielder Cam Constantine. In his second at-bat, hit the laser into right center for the double.
And as the leadoff guy, you're usually the guy who's taking a look at all the pitches. You want to see all the spin, report it back to the dugout. I think Ninburns is really good at doing that. Took spin for the first pitch of the game. But Neighbors is getting to hacking.
Well, he's also getting to taking his time, walking back to grab his bat. Now he's got it. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out as Johnson looking to strike out Neighbors. He deals 1-2. And Neighbors grounds it up the middle, right back where it came from. Sliding attempt by Rulli, but it bounces into center field. Neighbors around first with his second hit, and there's a base runner for the Barons with 1 away.
Well, and there's some solid contact. There's a fastball, not as much life to it. Neighbors gets a hold of it. It's a hot shot up the middle. Nothing Rulli can really do there. Takes a hop over his glove. Good job corralling it out in shallow center.
Another one that just wasn't hit tremendously hard. 80 miles an hour off the bat. A 77-mile-an-hour pitch. Neighbors adds a little bit of velocity, but one that, if it was in the glove of Johnson, wouldn't be crazy to think if he fielded it. Just placed in the right spot. As here, Williams chops to third. Could be a double play. Throw to Rulli for 1 to first. In time, a double play. The Blues turn 2 to get out of the 5th, and that's 5 innings for Fisher Johnson. Just 1 run allowed on the 4 hits. The Blues are coming up in the bottom half of the frame, looking for their first hit in this 1-1 game. Welcome back to Sinsheimer Stadium on the SLO Blues streaming network. We are here in the bottom of the 5th inning, and leading things off for the Blues, it's Cam Constantine. SLO still looking for its first hit of the day. As the count 0-1, it's 1-1, but the Blues haven't put a runner on with a hit through 4 innings against Harold Boyce. 0-1. Constantine takes low, 1 ball and 1 strike. Constantine had a great at-bat his first time up, saw 10 pitches, but struck out on the 10th in a 3-2 count. 1-1. Here he lines it straight back foul, 1-2.
When the Blues are put in a play, it's right at guys in the infield. Some ground balls, making it easy for them.
They haven't hit a ball out of the infield since the first inning when they flew out twice. So Constantine takes a second, steps back in 1-2. Boyce taking his time in his windup, delivers, and Constantine takes the cutter outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count. Outside of the major leagues, you don't normally see guys that mess around and use different windups, but that's what we've seen from Boyce today. Some pauses, some quick pitches, and he deals in. Strike 3 called to Constantine. That's the 4th strikeout for Boyce. There's one away here in the 5th.
And Constantine gets tied up right there on that breaking ball. This one's center cut. I think he was guessing something else there. He maybe got a little fooled and locked up, but it's the 2nd strikeout of the day for Constantine.
And that time it was the quick pitch, where sometimes you see the pause. When it's coming at you faster, it's easier to get frozen as Adams swings. It's no balls and 1 strike as he misses a walk, a stolen base, and a run scored on an error by Adams his first time up. 0-1. He takes in the dirt, 1 ball and 1 strike. So now this summer, 15 1/3 innings pitched so far for Harold Boyce. Not a single run that is earned, technically. No earned runs. 1-1. Swing and a miss from Adams.
And that differential in the delivery. As a hitter, the only thing you can really do is just be an athlete. Start your load at different times. There's not really an exact technique you should really do. You just kind of have to figure it out as you're up there. Be an athlete.
Here's the long pause and a 2-2. And Adams hits a soft liner on 1 hop to second. Neighbors backed up onto the outfield grass. He makes the play and guns out Adams. And it allows guys, as we've seen, I think, with Johnny Cueto in his major league career, that don't have A+++ stuff to really make do with what they do have. And we're seeing great control so far from Boyce. And it does make your fastball seem a little faster, your breaking ball seem a little slower when you're varying up your delivery.
Well, I'll drop some knowledge here. Hitting is timing. That's the whole thing. We analyze all the mechanics, all these drills, PVC pipes, yoga balls. It's all about timing. If your timing is off, you're not going to hit very well. And pitcher's messing with the timing here, and that's the fundamental part of hitting. So when you mess that up, it's going to be hard to hit the ball.
Jacob Galloway, his first time up, hit a sharp grounder to third, but Williams was able to make the play and gun out the USC catcher. Here, Galloway ahead in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. SLO went 4-3 against the Barons last year. They were the only team to finish below the Blues in the standings last year. The Barons went 13-21, finished just a game behind the Blues for last place. This year, coming into this game, the Barons the only team behind the Blues in the standing once again. 2 balls and no strikes. Academy 2-11, 3.5 games back of the Blues, who are 4-6 and in 5th place. 2 balls, no strikes on the USC lefty. As Boyce works from the windup, kicks and fires. And Galloway tags it to center on a line, heading back as a center fielder. McCain, he's got a beat on it, and he reaches up with the last second to make the catch. So the Blues hit it hard, 93 miles an hour off the bat. But Galloway is retired. The Blues go 1-2-3 for the 2nd straight frame, and we head to the top of the 6th. It's 1-1. We're back on the SLO Blues streaming network here in the top of the 6th inning. It is 1-1, Barons and Blues. Nate, we've seen a pitcher's duel, and Fisher Johnson still out working in the 6th inning here. Went 4 innings his first start in CCL play. He's gone deeper here, and he's been excellent. Yeah,
Fisher Johnson, it's kind of the yin and yang of the two pitchers. I feel like Johnson has been having these guys hitting balls in the air, and some of them have been mistakes for extra bases, and that's how they got their run. And then on the other side, you look at Harold, it's been ground ball city for the Blues.
Both guys pitching to contact and pitching well in this game as Dylan Lena steps up, and he's plunked. Lena hit the RBI double his last time up, and Johnson, as he finished that inning, had some words for the dugout as he left the mound, and now Lena hit with the first pitch. Now, we don't want to assume anything, but Lena with the long walk, and he just took it right off the elbow.
I wouldn't really want to assume anything here. I mean, we're tied at 1, and you're just giving him a free base runner here. It's a Blues team that's had been struggling to find a hole this game. I wouldn't just want to give a free one like that.
Certainly, but Lena's now reached base each of his 3 times up. A walk in the first, the double in the third. Now hit by a pitch to start the 6th. And the batter will be Jacob Klinowski, who conversely is 0 for 2. A pop out and a fly out, as you mentioned. Johnson getting people out in the air, and that's been the case for Klinowski so far. So Lena with a leadoff first, potential go-ahead run on board here in the 6th. Johnson from the stretch kicks and fires, and Klinowski chops it to second. Backing up is Rulli. He has to leap to make the play, and the Blues will only get 1 at second. So nice play by Rulli to get the lead runner, but just not enough time to turn 2, and there's 1 away.
And this one hits the dirt, and it takes a huge hop over to Rulli. Kind of had to adjust his feet a bit and set and make that throw to O'Hara at second. Had it not for that, been that hop, probably would have gotten the ball quicker and could have rolled 2.
We got to learn about some advanced statistics on Fisher Johnson's fastball in between innings. The two-seamer's got 8 inches of horizontal run as that fastball is glanced back off his glove. Running play by O'Hara, who cleans it up for the out. A ball right back where it came from. It bounced off Johnson, and O'Hara with the nice recovery to still get an out.
Yeah, good on O'Hara, the Texas kid, to be right there at the right time. And once again, he's just got a gun from shortstop. Comes through and makes the play over at first.
Your regular 1-6-3, but it's not a double play. But 8 inches of horizontal run on the two-seam. Imagine something breaking in 8 inches towards you as you're trying to swing and hit it.
It's hard to hit. Very hard to hit.
At 88 miles an hour as well. So we were talking about maybe a little bit of late run. No, how about just a ton of run the whole time? As that fastball's off the outside corner. Couldn't run back towards the corner. 1 ball and no strikes. So back-to-back fielder's choice ground outs. And Mark Anthony Hernandez now comes up trying to put the Barons in front with a runner at second and 2 outs. Johnson comes home. That's a strike on the outside corner, 1-1. So it was the first pitch hit by pitch to Lena, then 2 first pitch ground outs. Johnson's thrown 5 pitches in this inning. Still looking for that third out. 1-1. Swinging a liner straight back foul off the bat of Hernandez. 1-2 the count. Klinowski's at second. Potential tying run here in the 6th, the 1-1 ball game. Johnson looks at the baseball, now steers in at his catcher for the sign. Nods, comes set, glove held at his belt. He kicks and fires. And a last-minute foul ball as Hernandez just barely got a tip. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Ball boy's got like 4 baseballs in the left hand.
That was just a protect-me swing at the end of the at-bat for Hernandez. I think he realized it was going to be strike 3, just poked it out there and managed to catch a piece.
Yeah, that was going to clip the outer black of the strike zone, spot that Fisher's been hitting so far in this outing.
Klinowski gets his lead off second. Johnson paying no attention, deals, and misses inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. A runner at second in a 1-1 ball game. It's been a pitcher's duel the whole way, and Johnson trying to go 0 for 0 with Harold Boyce. Trying to throw up a scoreless frame here in the 6th. Long hold, 2-2. And there's a grounder towards short. O'Hara has to charge in. He goes to third, and the tag from Hardy in time for the out. A dangerous play for the Blues, but they get out of the inning. We're through 5.5 as we head to the bottom of the 6th. It's 1-1 on the SLO Blues streaming network. O'Hara coming to plate after making the last out for the Blues in the top half of this frame on that little flip to third. He leads things off. It's O'Hara, Schroeder, and Burns as the Blues still look for their first hit here in the bottom of the 6th inning. As Harold Boyce has tossed 74 pitches, and he's yet to allow a base knock. He delivers 0-0, and O'Hara starts off the inning with a high drive to right field. Klinowski heads back, fights the sun, and makes the catch just before he reached the deep part of the shadows. He puts the sunglasses on and makes the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Thought that would be enough to get over Klinowski's head, but he tracks it down well, secures the out. O'Hara is upset at that one.
89 miles an hour off the bat, just not enough juice to get over the head of the right fielder. And so here's the 9-hole hitter, Augusto Schroeder. He's been one of 2 base runners for the Blues in this game. 2 walks for Harold Boyce, who misses low. 1 ball and no strikes. So after Schroeder, it'll be back to the top of the order for the Blues. 3rd time through the lineup, which is where you start to see hitters make adjustments. And we've got a hitter to my right as Augusto Schroeder takes a strike. Nate, from what you've seen, your hitting point of view, what are the kind of adjustments the Blues need to make against a guy like Boyce?
So the fastball is not going to blow you away on Boyce. I think they just need to put some better swings on it. I think they need to attack it as soon as possible. They're not having luck. They're hitting it right at guys, but there's nothing else you can really do. I mean, if you get that fastball, especially in a count you like, ahead, like a 1-0, continue to take a hack at it.
1-2. Schroeder hacks and taps it foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes, still the count.
Something we've seen throughout the season as well. With 2 strikes, their swing does not change. And, I mean, I didn't change that much with 2 strikes towards the beginning of my college career. I did later on, but shorten up or something.
Schroeder goes around, and he's tagged out by Zuniga. That's the 5th strikeout for Boyce. On his 80th pitch, he picks up the 2nd out here in the 6th inning. So now Burns comes up. 2 times through the order, the Blues without a hit here at Sinsheimer Stadium. Game still tied, though, and for where it really counts, 1-1 the score.
Blues are just needing some sort of spark, just anything to get them going.
Oh, well. That's off the outside by a wide margin. 1 ball and no strikes. We talked about this in the open. The Barons are a team that's 2-11, and for the Blues, a chance to get back to 500 if they can sweep this 2-game series, but Academy has looked like a far different team than their record would suggest with Boyce on the hill.
Yeah, Blues struggling so far early on, this is a big 2-game series for them.
Long pause from the windup. The 1-1. And Burns takes a little low. 2 balls and 1 strike. Blues, a team that has dealt with some energy lapses at points this season. Coming off the series split with Conejo. They don't want to lose this game to fall to 4-7, especially to a team that's only won 2 games this summer.
No, certainly not. We want to try to make some progress heading up in the standings, especially as we're nearing the halfway mark of the season.
3-1 on the way. Burns takes outside. It's a walk. He flips his bat, and he's aboard with 2 outs in the 6th.
It's not a huge spark, but it's something. Another opportunity for the Blues to build on.
Well, a walk was all the Blues needed for the 1 run that they have scored. If you weren't watching, TJ Adams drew a walk with 2 outs in the 2nd. He promptly tried to steal second base, and Zuniga threw the ball into center field, and McCain, the center fielder, let it go right under his glove. And Adams came all the way around to score on just that one play. So seeing that last throw by Zuniga, don't be surprised here if the Blues send Burns, who's got 6 stolen bases in league play. Long hold, 0-0. It was a little slide step, and the fastball misses high. 1 ball and no strikes. Jacob Rulli is 0 for 2. A fly out to center, a ground out to third for the second baseman from CSU Bakersfield. Boyce works from the stretch just the 3rd time in this game as he stares over at Burns and comes set. Glove held at his belt. He picks to first, and Burns is back in. No slide. He makes it back just in time.
Yeah, I never understood the no slide going into a base or going back to a base. Prevents injury. You can get there quicker. It's easier to evade a tag. Never understood why people went in standing.
You look cool with the dirt on your jersey. Plenty of reasons. Another slide step and a swing and a miss. Now 1 ball and 1 strike as Boyce, no surprise to me really with the sophistication we've seen from his game, is really good at holding runners on.
You're mixing it up. It's hard to get the timing. I talked about earlier the UCLA, the 4 count, when to go. It's hard when you got a guy mixing up tempo like that.
Another slide step and a pitch out. Zuniga nowhere to go with it. Burns wasn't running. 2 balls and 1 strike. Maybe a little paranoia in the mind of the Academy Barons. They think Burns is going to go. They've read the scouting report. 2-1 the count on Rulli. Blues need a hit. The pitch. Burns takes off. Quick to home. The throw to second in the glove of the second baseman Neighbors, and Burns is out. Perfection from the Barons on defense this time, and Burns is retired. We're through 6. It's still 1-1. Fisher Johnson, is he coming back out? Looks like it here on the SLO Blues streaming network. Bottom third of the order stepping up for the Barons. It is a 1-1 game here on the SLO Blues streaming network. Johnson back out to work the 7th in this pitcher's duel matchup. He deals, and Zuniga hits a liner into right at Cam Constantine. 1 pitch, 1 out for Johnson, who's trading blows with Boyce.
Seen a lot of that on both ends. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Johnson was 71 pitches through 6 innings. He's now gotten out here in the 7th on his 72nd pitch. Both of these guys, Boyce and Johnson, efficiently working through these lineups. And the score, the same on the scoreboard. 4 hits for the Barons, 1 run. No hits for the Blues, but they've got 1 run of their own. Batter here, Troy McCain, who takes a slider on the outside corner, 0-1. This is a really good sign for Johnson. No matter how this game plays out, it seems like he's found his stuff. As the Blues, in his first couple starts, was hit around a little bit more. Today, he's been far more locked in. 0-1, and McCain takes low, 1 ball and 1 strike.
You know, we talk about the loss of Alanis and Robbie Lardner. Seeing Fisher Johnson step up like this, it's a good sign for Blues pitching.
Next man up mentality. 1-1, there's a soft liner on 1 hop. Ruley gives ground into the outfield. Overhand throw, gets him at first. Another ball hit in the right spot, and Johnson picks up a second out here in the 7th.
And just making it look easy. He's got momentum. He's in a rhythm. That's what this whole game is about. Talk about hitting his timing. It's also a lot of rhythm.
Here's Anthony Bassett, the 9-hole hitter, the shortstop from LA Harbor College, who's 0 for 2 with a ground out and a flyout. Theo Hardy plays in, watching a bunt, the 0-0, and Bassett lines it straight back foul. Both these teams are not afraid to swing early in counts, and if you're a pitcher and you're trying to keep your pitch count low, you need guys like that, and if you can get outs early in counts, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, why not? That's what it's been so far today.
Pitch into contact for both sides. 0-1. Swing and a miss on the big fastball, and Johnson's a strike away from getting out of the 7th. Blues scored a run in the 2nd. 1 run on the board for the Barons that very next half inning in the 3rd. Since then, a myriad of zeros put up by both pitchers. Johnson trying to tally another. 0-2 on the way. Popped up into left. In comes Adams fighting the sun. Johnson makes the catch for the final out. 7 innings for Fisher Johnson, and he still might be going in this game. Just 1 run allowed. As we head to the bottom of the 7th, it's 1-1 on the SLO Blues streaming network. Jacob Ruley to lead things off for the Blues. He was at the plate when Nin Burns was out, was thrown out trying to steal to end the 6th. And it's Ruley, Hardy, and Trimble here in the 7th. And Ruley taps it back off his own foot, and he's hurt. Oof. Ruley running towards third base. He hit the fastball off his own foot, and now he's taking a little bit of a walk.
You see a lot of those in modern baseball at all levels. I feel like if you look like even like in the 2000s, I feel like it hasn't happened as much as it has within the past decade.
And even with the guys, everyone's got the foot guards and everything now. Not for Ruley, but even the guys that do have it,
it still hits.
It always just hits.
Yeah.
It hits the points where the padding isn't. It's almost like without fail, that's what happens. Either way, a painful way to get to an 0-1 count as Harold Boyce continues on here in the 7th. He kicks and fires, and Rulli takes way high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Boyce and Johnson trading zeros here in this game. It's 1-1 in the bottom of the 7th, and now Rulli adjusts his batting gloves and gets ready to step back in a 1-1 count. Empty bullpen for both teams. Starters have been that good as Rulli takes outside 2-1. Is there any hesitation for you if you're the Blues at sending Fisher Johnson back out?
No, I would advise it.
The 2-1. Rulli takes strike 2. The Blues are still looking for their first hit. Here in the bottom of the 7th, they've grabbed 3 walks. They've scored a run. They don't have a base knock yet against Boyce, and they're almost running out of time, crazy to say, as we're just past 7:30 here on the West Coast. 2-2. Rulli beats it on the ground into the hole towards the shortstop, Bassett. He has to range, and the Blues have their first hit. Rulli beats out the infield single, and he's aboard to start the 7th.
That's all it takes. Didn't need to be a crazy barrel in the gap anywhere. Just a chop single in the infield. Rulli able to beat it out. Bassett having some trouble getting rid of it. And that's all you need for the Blues.
We will not be seeing a no-hitter tonight. And Blues fans happy about that. No one wants to show up on a Friday and see a no-no unless it would be the Blues throwing it. But that's the first Blues hit of the game. Rulli's aboard. And here's Theo Hardy. Now if you're the Blues, you've picked up the hit. Got to figure out a way to try and turn it into a run and give Fisher Johnson on his excellent night a lead.
And that's been the struggle for SLO so far this season.
Pitch from Boyce, and Hardy chases out of the zone. What was that? No run from Rulli. I don't know if Hardy thought he had a hit and run sign, but he just swung at one of the most outside pitches I've ever seen.
I'm going to say that there's a missed sign there.
Who do you think missed it, Rulli or Hardy?
Could be either.
The Blues a little off on the communication as Boyce deals 0-1 and misses low. 1 ball and 1 strike. I don't advise the Blues trying to run again. After Burns was thrown out trying to steal in the 6th, we have not seen a faster pitcher to home from the stretch than Harold Boyce all season. He comes set, 1-1. Long hold. And the delivery, Hardy takes in the dirt, 2 balls and 1 strike.
Yeah, especially on that slide step. You're always taught when you're stealing a bag and you don't see that heel come all the way up, you go 2 hard steps, shut it down, shuffle, get back to first if you see that slide step. So if you are going to go and you see the heel come up, you better have a really good jump.
Rulli's got good speed at first. He's stolen 5 bags in league play. It would be a gutsy move if the Blues run him. 2-1, that's a slide step, and Hardy takes outside, 3-1. One thing better than a stolen base, a walk, which would put 2 runners on for the Blues with nobody out. They've walked 3 times today, picked up their first hit in this inning. Rulli stands at first. Big spot for Boyce. He looks in and comes home. Rulli takes off. Hardy takes outside. The throw down from Zuniga is on the money, but not in time. Rulli steals his 6th bag and puts himself in scoring position with nobody out.
It's a good jump by Rulli. That's a good slide in there as well. Timing of the throw was good, just wasn't quite in the area he wanted it. Now it's up to Theo to capitalize on it.
Full count on the swing and miss by Hardy. That pitch was a strike. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Rulli gets his lead, and he takes off for third. A foul back to the screen. Rulli got another excellent jump, but Hardy had to fight with 2 strikes.
Yeah, if he's feeling good and if he feels like he can get a good jump, put the go-ahead run 90 feet away, have at it.
Rulli aggressive on the base paths. Figure Boyce will pay a little bit more attention to him now. Another 3-2. Hardy takes high and he walks. Big bat flip as he stares at Boyce down the line. A little chatting going on between the hitter and the pitcher. And now the throw back to second. Rulli just back in time. Zuniga caught him sleeping, and Rulli just got his hand back in. Would have been dangerous and a big mistake for the Blues.
Yeah, Rulli's locked in. Never doubt that he's ever gets out of focus. As I've said before, he's my personal captain of the team, as there's some words being exchanged between the umpire and the Blues dugout.
Well, now all of a sudden, Boyce is out of this game. There was no activity in the bullpen, and Boyce handed the ball off before the coach even got to the mound, and he walks off. Must have known, and he points his finger up in the sky as he leaves the hill. So a new arm coming in, maybe a chance for the Blues. 2 runners on, nobody out here in the bottom of the 7th. Pitching change, and we'll take a step away. So the Barons make a call to the pen rather out of the blue. It's the right-hander Nicholas Romanowski coming into the game.
Yeah, Nicholas Romanowski. We call this guy a nomad, graduating high school in 2018. Kicked around, couldn't find any junior college stats on him, but he spent some time at Adams State. Was there in the fall before entering the portal. Now looks like he's going to head to CSUN. He's pitched in 4 games so far this summer. 4.2 innings, 3 strikeouts. He's allowed 4 hits. He's got the splitter, he's got the slider, the curve, and the combio. That changeup, newer pitch to his arsenal. That fastball sitting up there in the upper 80s. He comes in for the Barons, and an opportunity for the Blues to really capitalize. Harold's been dominating against them. As we said, they just got their first hit in this inning. So a really good chance for the Blues here to see a new arm and capitalize on it and maybe get a run, hopefully.
So Romanowski and inherits a tough spot. Runners at first and second, nobody out. Ruley singled to lead off the inning, a little chopper into the hole at short that he beat out. He stole second, Hardy walked, and now the batter is Justin Trimble. So Ruley's at second, Hardy's at first. In this 1-1 game, Blues entered the inning without a hit, and they're looking to leave the inning with a lead.
Soft contact all day for SLO, and if you're looking for soft contact, Justin Trimble's not your guy. He's a man who hits the ball very hard.
Pick to second. Ruley's back, and the throw almost gets into center field. You have to be perfect if you're the Barons. Defensively, with pitches in the dirt, can't give the Blues a run for free in this close game.
Not after all the hard work that Harold threw out there.
Ground out and a strikeout so far today for Trimble. He has a chance to put the Blues on top here with their second hit. Ruley gets another big lead. He's stared back, and now Romanowski deals. Trimble pops it up, foul and out of play over the bullpen or the Academy Barons and into the trees. No balls and 1 strike. So Shadows fully cover the infield. The outfield not so much. They'll still have to fight with the sun. The Blues have really good speed at both spots on the base paths. Ruley, one of the fastest guys on the team, and Hardy's right up there too. At the very least, if you're Trimble, your job is to get them both over. And a chance for the Blues with a runner at third and less than 2 outs.
You don't want to get too big here. 2 RBIs on the year here for the left-hander and 11 at-bats.
Ruley chased back to the bag by the shortstop Bassett, and now Romanowski will step off.
Yeah, Ruley's in Romanowski's head rent-free. Wonder if that's going to mess with any of his command in this at-bat.
Well, Romanowski watched from the pen. He saw Rulli try and steal third, and he's not about to let that happen for free. No balls, 1 strike, another stare back to second, and now Romanowski comes set. Tan glove held at his belt. Another look back. Rulli gets off, and the pitch into Trimble. A big swing and a miss. No balls and 2 strikes on the first baseman from UCSB.
It looks like that was the splitter. I feel like that one was in the zone for a while. And Trimble pulls his head.
Blues don't need power right here. They need contact. Strikeout spot for Romanowski unless he can maybe get a pop-up or a double play. An 0-2 count pitching for the K. No pick back to second. There was no one covering, and Romanowski gets Rulli to go back to the bag. Trimble now needs to shorten up with 2 strikes. 0-2 the count. Nobody out here in the 7th. Blues have 2 runners on. Trying to take their first lead since the 2nd inning. Rulli off the bag. The 0-2. Trimble ropes it on the ground into right field, base hit. Rulli being waved around third. Here comes the throw from Klinowski. The Blues have the lead. Trimble heading up to second as the throw gets away. It's 2-1. Justin Trimble comes through with the base hit. 2 now in the inning, and the Blues aren't done.
It's all the Blues needed. Didn't need a big old blast out there. All it took was a simple stroke from the Gaucho, Justin Trimble, to place it out in right field. And Rulli scores standing up. Blues got the lead.
And an 0-2 count. Justin Trimble shortens up and pokes one through the infield. And Rulli's speed able to come around to score. And now, with 2 runners in scoring position, nobody out, the Barons need to play it safe. They're bringing the infield in, trying to cut across anything that the Blues may have coming in. Cam Constantine up, and Constantine takes a mighty hack, swings and misses, 0-1. Justin Trimble picks up his 3rd RBI, just his 2nd league hit. And it's a big one here. It's now 2-1 in the bottom of the 7th. Now a chance for the Blues to add insurance. Constantine has struck out twice today, a chance to make up for those 2 at-bats. 0-1. Constantine pops it up. Straight back and foul. It's no balls and 2 strikes. Hardy's at 3rd. Trimble's at 2nd after his base knock put the Blues in front. An 0-2 count on Cam Constantine. Still nobody out. Klinowski stares in for his sign, looks back at 2nd. No one holding Trimble on. He's got a monster lead. 0-2. Constantine fights it off. Foul down the first base line. Still 0-2.
Seen that a lot in Constantine's at-bats so far this summer. Does a good job spoiling pitches. One last step for him is to win those battles.
Deep breath for Romanowski on the mound. Pitching for the strikeout. Here with nobody out in the inning. He delivers, and Constantine pops it up. Shallow right, in comes Klinowski. He's still coming. He slides, and he makes the catch. Hardy tags up from 3rd. Klinowski gets up, throws, and it's not in time. Blues add another on the RBI sac fly from Cam Constantine. It's 3-1.
They're saying that Hardy did not tag up, but looks like he did. And Klinowski looked like he was a little surprised that Hardy was taken off for home, tagging up on that, but I'd be expecting that. You're diving for a play. Yeah, it's a little too shallow to tag up on, but that's if you catch it in the air. When you make a diving effort like that, it's hard to get back up and throw the guy out, especially with the speed that Hardy has. So it makes total sense that he comes in to score.
The Blues trust the speed of their 3rd baseman, and it puts another run on the board. The first out of the inning does knock in another run for the Blues, who now lead it by 2. Here's TJ Adams, who's got a walk and a ground out today. Adams takes in the dirt, and it bounces off the catcher Zuniga. Heading to 3rd is Trimble, and he's at 3rd base with 1 away. So 90-foot mistake, and that's a big deal. Now Adams can do the same thing Constantine did, knock in a run on a sac fly, and you have to imagine the Barons will bring the infield back in.
And it's like we've said, it only takes one. It just took that base hit from Rulli in the beginning to get this rally going. Like I always say, the pendulum's swinging.
Now Romanowski from the windup. Adams takes the breaking ball in there. Strike one called at the top of the zone. Didn't need to be a strike, but it was. And Adams now even in the count, 1-1. Romanowski pitching for the strikeout once again. Couldn't get Constantine to K. Pitching to Adams now. And Adams lines it foul on a soft hop down the first base line. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2-strike hitting for the Blues in this inning has been the key. Trimble came up with the 2-strike RBI single, and Constantine does the same thing on the sac fly.
And we're seeing those adjustments I was talking about earlier. A lot of different swings, 2 strikes this time around.
1-2. It's in the dirt, but a nice block this time from Zuniga. Keeps Trimble planted at third. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And in this inning, the Blues have done what they couldn't do in that second game against the Oaks. They have brought in runners when they've gotten them into scoring position. The chances have been more limited today, but the Blues taking advantage here in the 7th. Another chance with a runner at third, less than 2 away. 2-2 pitch incoming. Here it is. And Adams takes in the dirt just over the head of Zuniga, who couldn't find it. Now he's got it. 3 balls and 2 strikes. 2 straight pitches in the dirt, and a little bit of chatter going on between the two Barons as Romanowski and Zuniga exchanging words.
And some frustration on the mound. It's not good for the Barons. You want to pitch angrily if you can't control it. It's not a guy you want to put on base either with the speed of Adams.
Walk does set up a double play, but trying to get the out. 3-2. Adams takes off the outside corner. It is a walk. So now the double play is in order, but you put speed on the base paths for the Blues with Jacob Galloway coming to the plate. Second walk in the inning. The Blues also have 2 hits. It's important to note, too, the run scored by Rulli to put the Blues in front. The first earned run allowed by Harold Boyce all summer, and don't let that take away from his outing. He was phenomenal against the Blues today and just ran into a little bit of trouble in the 7th before his inherited runner came in to score. So Galloway comes up, hit a sharp liner to center, 91 miles an hour off the bat his last time up. His first time at the plate back in the 2nd, he grounded out to third. Now Romanowski in this spot, pitching for a strikeout and or a double play. Adams takes off. The pitch is outside. The throw from Zuniga. The Barons cut it off. Now the throw comes home, and Trimble's gunned out by a mile. The Blues fall right into the Barons' trap, and Trimble's retired at the plate.
Very quick catch and release by Bassett. Throws on the money to Zuniga. They get Trimble out easily at home.
There wasn't even really a contest there. That's a play that everyone works on, first and third, and the Blues ran right into it, trusting the speed of Trimble, and it didn't work. So now with 2 outs and a strike, the batter Jacob Galloway. Adams does move up to second, where the Blues maybe waste an opportunity there with a runner at third and less than 2 outs. Oh, 1. Galloway takes low, 1 ball and 1 strike. Galloway still looking for his first league hit. He was 2 for 5 against the Crabs last weekend. 0 for 4 with a walk in his debut. Romanowski steps off, and Adams back to the bag. Blues have gotten on the board twice, still trying to add insurance here with a runner in scoring position, 2 outs. This game is really slowed to a halt here in the 7th. Romanowski, the reliever, looks back, now comes home, and Galloway fights it off foul, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Galloway hoping he was doing his homework, paying attention to the guys in front of him, changing his approach with 2 strikes, shortening up, maybe widening that stance a bit.
Catcher from USC, a chance to knock in another run for SLO. Romanowski trying to get out of the inning with just the 2-run deficit. A 1-2 count with 2 outs, runner at second. He delivers, and Galloway strikes out swinging. Right back into the glove of his fellow catcher Zuniga, and that ends the frame. The Blues get their first 2 hits, and they get 2 more runs. Fisher Johnson's heading back out for the 8th as the Blues now lead it by a score of 3-1. We welcome you back to Sinsheimer Stadium. The Blues lead for the first time since the second. It's 3-1 here in the top of the 8th inning, and Fisher Johnson heading back out for the Blues. It'll be the top of the order. Kamau Neighbors, then Thomas Williams, Dylan Lena due up. So the Barons a chance to respond with the top of the order coming up. Johnson has worked 7 innings for the Blues, 4 hits, just the 1 run. The Blues have played excellent defense behind him. Pitch into contact, now the 4th time through the order. And Neighbors starts off by taking that pitch off the outside corner. 1 ball and no strikes. Little head tilt from Jacob Galloway, the catcher. Trying to argue in favor of his USC teammate Fisher Johnson on the hill here in the 8th. 1-0. And Neighbors hits a liner, sinking past O'Hara, but he reaches out and makes the catch. Nice running grab from the shortstop from Texas, and there's 1 away in the 8th. This is what Johnson has done all day. Early in counts, he's picking up outs. 2 pitches to retire Neighbors, and here comes Thomas Williams. So with 1 away, here's Thomas Williams. Williams has walked, he's grounded out, and this last time up, he grounded into a double play that ended the 5th inning. Oh well, is a little bit low, 1 ball and no strikes. The last hit for the Barons came in the 5th before that double play. Since then, the lone blemish for Fisher Johnson was a hit by pitch to start the 6th inning. Other than that, he's been phenomenal as Williams taps it foul off his own foot, 1 ball and 1 strike. Johnson's pitch count stands at 82, so if you're looking ahead a little bit, he's got a chance to potentially finish this game if he's able to stay efficient. But right now, he's going batter by batter, trying to get the Blues up to bat in the bottom of the 8th with a lead. Williams, the third baseman from Santa Ana College, in an even 1-1 count. Johnson comes home, and Williams takes the 2-seamer in there on the inside corner, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Johnson only has 3 strikeouts. 2 of them came in the 2nd, 1 came in the 4th. He's been inducing weak contact, a lot of it on the ground, some in the air as well. Under the same here, 1-2. Williams thought about going around, but holds back on that outside fastball, 2-2. This is easily Johnson's longest outing of the summer and his longest outing of his collegiate career. A reliever at USC, trying to transition into a starter. And a really nice start so far here. 2-2. Williams strikes out swinging. Johnson blew the fastball by him and let a little words come out of his mouth. 2 outs here in the 8th. That's just the 4th strikeout for Johnson, and he picks it up in a big spot. He's feeling himself on the hill. And here comes Dylan Lena. Lena's been the one guy that, if you can point to, has really gotten to Johnson so far. A walk in the 1st, the double that knocked in the lone run for the Barons back in the 3rd, and then Johnson hit him with the first pitch of the 6th inning. Still is yet to be retired as he comes up for the 4th time here in the 8th. 0-0, and Lena flies it foul, no balls and 1 strike. So 0-1 the count on Lena, the DH from Golden West, as Johnson's an out away from finishing the 8th. His USC teammate Josh Blum warms up in the bullpen. 0-1, and Lena takes high, 1-1. Maybe that's for the 9th, maybe that's just for if Johnson gets in any trouble. With the pitch count just nearing 90 pitches, Johnson can get a quick out to finish the 8th. He may earn himself a chance to go out for the 9th inning. If not, his USC fellow reliever waiting in the pen. 1-1 is high, 2 balls and 1 strike. Johnson hasn't really nibbled to anyone. If there's been a guy, it's been Lena in this game. Nibbled around him in the 1st, threw a pitch over the heart of the plate in the 2nd that Lena tagged off the wall, and then hit him with the first pitch on that inside fastball in the 6th inning. 2-1. Lena takes, strike 2 called. That fastball, 88 miles an hour on that outside corner, and Johnson a strike away. Fisher Johnson toeing the hill. First base side of the rubber. Straight up defense behind him with a 3-hole hitting DH at the plate. He strides and shoots. And Lena breaks his bat. Hits a soft grounder to short. Gloved by O'Hara. Waits, throws, and got him. Johnson picks up a piece of hardware on the lumber, and we're through 8. On the Blues on defense, Johnson walks back to the Blues dugout. Hasn't allowed a run since the 3rd. And we head to the bottom of the 8th. It's 3-1 Blues on the SLO Blues streaming network. Bottom of the 8th here at Sinsheimer. It's 3-1 Blues over the Academy Barons, and it'll be 8-9-1 in the Blues lineup. Looking to add some insurance before the 9th. Kate O'Hara, Augusto Schroeder, and Nin Burns due up. And from the looks of it, out in the Blues bullpen, Fisher Johnson will not be coming out for the 9th inning. He's walking out there, getting high fives from everyone in the pen. So it seems like the day is done for Johnson, and it was a great day at that. 8 innings pitched, just the 1 run, and he's kept the Blues in front in this game. Count, no balls and 1 strike on O'Hara. So looking ahead to the 9th, you would assume Josh Blum warming up. He'll be in to try and get the save for the Blues in the 9th. 0-1, and O'Hara takes outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Kate O'Hara today has struck out and flied out. The Blues still have just the 2 hits with the 4 walks, but enough for 3 runs in this game with the error thrown in by the Barons. Romanowski still out for the 8th, kicks and fires, and O'Hara takes high. 2 balls and 1 strike. Blues looking to start the weekend in this big 4-game long weekend with a win against the 2-11 Barons. If they sweep, they get back to 500. 2-1. Is high as well. Romanowski falls off the mound. 3 balls and 1 strike as he now fixes his footing. From the windup, the 3-1 to O'Hara is high, but in the strike zone. O'Hara throws his arms up in disgust as the count moves full. Right on that top part of the zone, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Payoff. O'Hara hits a high drive to left, carrying on Diaz, who trails it back right in front of the track. He puts his glove up and makes the catch. 90 miles an hour off the bat, but O'Hara couldn't quite sneak it over the left field wall. That's the first down in the inning. The ball was hit 340 feet. The wall straight down the left field line is 335, but O'Hara didn't hit it exactly down the line and didn't have enough to get it over. It's the second time he's hit a ball well. We thought he had the first hit for the Blues back in the 6th when his fly ball to right was caught. This time it's to left, and he's the first out in the 8th. First pitch to Schroeder is in there, strike 1 on the outside corner. So from the looks of it, Kate O'Hara maybe a day or 2 away from really finding his swing with the type of contact he's been making today. And Schroeder takes strike 2 call. If you're looking ahead to the 9th, it'll be the heart of the order coming up for the Barons. Johnson was able to retire 1, 2, 3 in the 8th, but it'll be Klinovsky, Diaz, and Hernandez, 4, 5, 6 for the Barons in the 9th. Romanowski from the windup. Kicks and deals. And Schroeder takes strike 3 call. A slider on the outer half. It's the 7th strikeout for the Barons. There's 2 away in the 8th.
For the Blues, here's Nin Burns, the second.
So with 2 outs, here's Nin Burns. Burns walked back in the 6th and was promptly thrown out trying to steal. That ended the inning, and there it looked like the Blues squandered an opportunity before they came across the score in the 7th. And Burns has reached once. He's also grounded into a double play and grounded out to short. Oh, 1, and the pitch on the way. Burns swings, laces a ground ball to third. On 2 hops, Williams comes up with it, throws long, and the tag on Burns in time for the out. Nice recovery from Hernandez for the final out of the 8th, and we'll head to the 9th. 3-1 will have to be enough as Johnson's coming out and a new pitcher's coming in. Right in the 9th, 3-1 Blues on the SLO Blues streaming network. Well, here we go. It's the top of the ninth. The Blues trying to win this game close. 3-1 the score, and a new pitcher coming in relief of Fisher Johnson. It is Josh Blum, the USC righty, making his third appearance in league play, and he deals a fastball high, 1 ball and no strikes. The batter is the 4-hole hitter Jacob Klinowski, the right fielder from Cal State East Bay. Blum threw a non-league scoreless inning against the Humboldt Crabs last Saturday. He's got a 7.2 ERA in 5 league innings. And he's behind in the count, 2 balls and no strikes to Klinowski. Final line on Josh Blum is excellent. 8 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned run. He finished with the 4 Ks, but pitched to contact all day long, finished at 90 pitches. But now a chance for Blum to pick up a save in the ninth. 2-0. And that's way outside into the backstop. 3 balls and no strikes. And now Jacob Ruley, who Nate Mills talks about his leadership all the time, is going to talk to Blum. Because the last thing you want to do if you're the Blues is walk the leadoff hitter here in the ninth. That would mean that every batter that came up from then on would be the tying run in the ninth inning. Blum trying to reel things back in. Across 5 innings pitched in league, he's allowed 2 hits, 4 earned runs, 5 walks, 4 strikeouts. All 4 of those earned runs, though, came in his first outing on a grand slam. As he misses out, it is a 4-pitch walk, and Klinowski's aboard. So Blum walks the first batter on 4 pitches, and just like that, the tying run will come to the plate in the form of Max Diaz, who is 0 for 3 today with 2 flyouts and a fielder's choice. Blues have Matthew Gonzalez warming up in the bullpen. So there's trust in Blum to get the save, but extra insurance with the closer Gonzalez warming up right behind him. 0-0. And Diaz takes strike 1. So Blum refines the zone, and the count no balls and 1 strike. Diaz, the left fielder from the University of New Orleans, came into this game hitting 194. He's 0 for 3. 0-1. Diaz takes strike 2 call. That's the breaking ball at 79 miles an hour. And now the count quickly, no balls and 2 strikes. Klinowski runs well at first. He gets his lead, a conservative one, as his run doesn't matter as much as the guy at the plate. Long hold. 0-2. In the dirt. Nice block by Jacob Galloway, who gave everything to keep that in front. 1-2. Like Johnson and Galloway, Blum also threw to Galloway this past season at USC. So these two have a ton of chemistry, as Galloway knows the profile of each of Blum's pitches, knows where he's got to go to keep one from getting back to the backstop when it's in the dirt. He also knows what Blum is comfortable with in every count. We'll see what he goes to. 1-2. Blum comes set, looking in at Diaz. He kicks and fires. And he struck him out. Diaz goes around on the breaking ball. There's one away in the ninth. Got the chase on the slider, and with 1 out, the batter will be Mark Anthony Hernandez. That's the first strikeout for Blum, the 5th for Blues pitching, as Johnson had 4 in his first 8 innings. Hernandez was one of those strikeouts. He's 0 for 3 with a strikeout, a line out to left, and a fielder's choice ground out. Oh well. Hernandez takes low, 1 ball and no strikes. That was the fastball at 89. Count 1-0. Hernandez, the first baseman from Sonoma State, trying to extend this ninth. Feel like the Barons will need a hit or 2 in this ninth inning. They want to tie or take the lead. And a big swing and a miss, 1-1. Hernandez led Sonoma State in batting average in his first season with the Seawolves. He was the only batter above 300 as he hit .350 across 38 games. 1 home run, 13 runs batted in. Choking up by about 1.5 inches, even without 2 strikes. 1-1. And Hernandez behind on the fastball, 1-2. Hernandez struck out. It's about 1 in every 2 games. 20 Ks in 38 games played and 32 starts. Blum a strike away from finishing him off. 1-2 with Klinowski at first. Pick goes there. It's in the dirt, but a nice scoop by Trimble. Still 1-2. Klinowski's got a minuscule lead. He's off the bag by maybe a yard, if that. Trying to avoid being picked off. The Barons don't want to make an out on the bases, especially with how little that run matters. Here's the 1-2. outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Chance for the Blues to pick up a win in Game 1 versus 2 against the Barons. Barons 2-11, and SLO, if they're able to sweep this 2-game series, can get back to 500 for the first time since the second league game. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Mark Anthony Hernandez. Blum delivers. Swing and a miss. He got him on the slider, and there's 2 outs in the 9th. Blum gets 2 batters in a row to chase the breaking ball, and that one was wicked. 78 miles an hour, 14 inches of horizontal break. Good for strikeout number 2. And now the last hope for the Barons is Alonzo Zuniga, the catcher from Cumberland. Zuniga picked up a hit in his first at-bat. Since then, a pop-out and a line-out. Oh, well. And Zuniga swings and misses. Another great slider. It's 0-1. That breaking ball at 80 miles an hour this time. Blum working the power slider. No balls and 1 strike. 0-1 on the way. Swing and a miss. 2 strikes. And now Blum's a strike away from finishing the job. Searching for his first save in CCL play, and the Blues searching for a Game 1 win over the Barons. 2 outs, an 0-2 count. Klinowski leads off first as Blum trying to retire the tying run. Zuniga looking to extend the 9th as Blum searches for his sign. Picks the one he wants. No balls, 2 strikes. The offering. Popped up into center. Burns broke back. Now he comes in, and he makes the catch. That's the ball game as the Blues grab Game 1 behind an excellent outing from Fisher Johnson. Final score of 3-1 as the Blues take the first game against the Academy Barons, and Academy drops to 2-12. It's now a 5-6 record for the Blues as Fisher Johnson picks up a win in excellent fashion. 8 innings pitched, 1 earned run, and the righty from USC picks up a W. We'll hope to get Fisher Johnson in a post-game interview, but until then, it's a 3-1 final for the Blues as they get Game 1 against the Barons to improve to 5-6. We'll be right back on the SLO Blues streaming network. welcome you back into the broadcast booth as I'm joined by the winning pitcher, Fisher Johnson, who threw 8 innings, 1 earned run for the Blues. Fisher, when you guys needed to win most, you stepped up with your best start of the summer. What were you feeling when you went out on the mound?
Yeah, I mean, pregame we kind of talked about it. This was a big one for us. Just get back on track. And honestly, it was just fun today. Summer ball, that's what it is. It's fun. I felt like I was really working, just throwing good pitches, throwing strikes. And we were just having a good time, and I think it went well for us.
I'm curious as to you, of course, the great start. What's the transition been like, of course, being a reliever at USC, now transitioning to starter here this summer? What's been the easy parts? What have been the hardest parts? And what did you realize out there today?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different. I think from a warm-up perspective, especially for me, it's just different, having time to warm up, being a starter now. As a bullpen guy, you got to get going quick. You got to be throwing hard every day. And now I'm kind of just trying to prime one day, essentially. So that's been an adjustment, but I've really been liking it because I think that I have what it takes to be a starter back at school and here especially. So I've just been enjoying it and kind of just going with it.
And going deep into the first game this summer, one of the reasons you're able to do that, pitching to contact. I'm curious, how have you learned to pitch to contact so well and maybe not tally up the strikeouts a ton, but induce weak contact?
Yeah, I mean, I think something I pride myself on is I like to get ground balls. And I think sometimes, throwing less pitches, I love that. Coaches love that. Infielders love that. Everyone loves that. So I think pitching to contact, it's the exact same thing as striking someone out. And when you get to break a bat like I did tonight, got a couple, that's when it gets real fun.
Well, it was kind of going both ways, 1-1 game. What does it say about your offense that even going into the 7th inning with no hits, they were able to go and grab you a lead? Yeah,
I mean, as a pitching staff, our job is to keep the team in the game. And I think it speaks to them. They had some guys that were throwing really well. But we stuck with it. We kind of got emotional at one point, like, hey, let's go. We turned it on. And, we have really good guys in the lineup, and at some point they're going to get going. So that's what happened. They're late.
You guys have a big weekend this weekend, 4 games this weekend, 10 games in the next 11 days. What do you guys need to do to build on this win to continue it throughout the rest of this long weekend?
I think we just got to keep playing baseball like that. I mean, tonight, the defense behind me was outstanding. I think just limiting walks, which I did after the first inning, that's huge. And I think if we just play clean baseball, we're talented enough to really, kind of take this thing home and win a lot of games here in the CCL.
Well, Fisher, we appreciate you joining and fight on as well.
Yes, sir, fight on.
You and Blum and Galloway, a great day for USC, a great day for the Blues. The Blues grab a final score, 3-1 win in Game 1 against the Barons. We'll be back here tomorrow, 4 p.m. first pitch here on the SLO Blues streaming network.